TW. This post contains descriptions of child abuse. Readers are advised to use their discretion. Prenote. In Korean naming custom, one's family name does not change upon marriage, and a child would typically follow their father's family name. Hence, it is typical for a child and their mother not to share the family name. On 10 February 2021, a police report was filed in Gumi, Gyeongbuk Province by Sok that she had discovered her 2-year-old granddaughter Hong Boram deceased and mummified in her daughter's flat. Sok had visited the flat with her husband when the husband received a phone call from the lessor, telling him that the lease contract had expired and he could not contact Kim. Sok herself had been living in a separate flat downstairs on the same block. Kim was taken into custody on charges of murder and violation of children's welfare law, violation of child benefit law and violation of infant protection law on the 19th. Kim had been rearing her daughter on her own in the flat since her divorce with her ex-husband Hong, before she moved out in early August the previous year with all of her household items, abandoning her daughter without any means of sustenance. She had become pregnant with her second child to a different man and gave birth to it not long after she moved out. There was evidence of severe neglect even before the abandonment. The electricity to the flat had been cut since 20 May 2020 because the bill had been left unpaid for 5 months. Sok and Kim had always had a strained relationship. Kim ran away in her late teenage years and hid her pregnancy to Sok until the labor was imminent. Even after their reconnection, they do not appear to have kept in close touch, to the point where Sok's husband had been unaware of Kim having moved out until the discovery of the body. What seemed like a relatively cut and dry case of child abuse took an unexpected turn when multiple DNA test results repeatedly indicated that the child was not a biological daughter of Kim and her ex-husband, but rather belonged to Sok. Neither Sok's husband nor any of the 2 of her extramarital boyfriends was the father of the mystery child, since there was a hospital record of Kim having given birth to a daughter. The police theorized that Kim and Sok had separately given birth and that Sok had, unbeknownst to Kim, swapped Kim's child with her own at the maternity ward, possibly in order to hide the fact that she had borne a child out of wedlock. The police realized they not only had a child of unknown identity in their hands, but possibly another one who now has been missing for years. Sok was arrested for child kidnapping on 11 March. She denied having given birth to the child and claimed the DNA test to be inaccurate. Her husband testified that he was unaware of Sok having been pregnant or having given birth. Sok's medical record did not show any history of pregnancy-related appointment, and the possibility of hiring an unregistered midwife also turned back no lead. Sok's search history included keywords such as self-birth and birth preparation, and there were witness testimonies of Sok having larger clothes in early 2018, around the speculated time period of birth. It was also revealed that Sok had actually discovered the child the day before she contacted the police, having contacted Kim the day before on the 9th telling her that she will dispose of the body. Sok testified that she tried to move the body in a box but was startled by the sound of a wind blowing and put the body back in its original position. The neonatal blood test record showed that the test subject had type A blood, which was impossible for a biological child of Kim, indicating that the swap likely happened before the blood sample was taken. There also was a picture supposedly taken by Kim, in which the paper identification tag that would typically be around the newborn's ankle was broken and placed by the child. The prosecution alleged that it had to have been Sok or a possible accomplice who ripped off their anklet off Kim's child when the swap happened. In addition, a partially broken umbilical clamp with DNA of the dead child on was turned in as evidence in court, which the prosecution claimed was broken in Sok's attempt to detach it from Kim's daughter to put it on her own daughter in the process of swapping. Kim was sentenced to 20 years in prison for her original charges in lower court, and the sentencing was upheld in the Court of Appeal. She gave up any further appeal. Sok was convicted of child kidnapping and attempted corpse concealing and sentenced to 8 years in prison in her first trial, and the sentence was upheld in the Court of Appeal. The Supreme Court sent the case back to the Court of Appeal in June 2022. Citing the insufficient evidence on the means or motivation of the alleged child swapping. It also refuted the prosecution's theory on the time period during which Sok gave birth. Based on the date on which the child's umbilical cord stump fell off, Sok's work schedule, and the apparent characteristic of Kim's child appearing consistently throughout the stay in the maternity ward. Whereabouts or even the sheer existence of Kim's actual biological daughter is unknown to this day. The media sensationalized the ludicrous story, while the one certain victim of the story, a 2-year-old who was neglected and starved to death in the sweltering summer heat, was brushed off to the background. One of the initial reports, TV investigative broadcast that publicized the case before the DNA test, article on police investigation, and another one, yet another one, first trials sentencing on Kim, Court of Appeal sentencing on Sok, court document of the cassation, article on the sendback as well as Kim's sentence being finalized.